Hello, and thank you for joining me. This is another episode of Simply Saturday, where I like to show you a card that you can make very quickly without a lot of effort. Today is Saturday, February 5th, 2022. We are going to be using the stamp set called On the Horizon. And we're also going to be using this beautiful designer series paper called New Horizons. Let me give you a peek at some of these papers. They are beautiful scenes, like landscapes, slightly different color combinations, but the artwork is really in the paper, and we're going to take advantage of that. So I've chosen this paper for our card today, and I will tell you all of the measurements of the pieces. So this piece I cut down to 3 3/4 inches by 5. So the first thing I did was cut the 3 3/4, and then I took a half an inch off the bottom and a half an inch off of the top to kind of keep the landscape look to scale. So that piece looks like this. Then I have a piece of pale papaya cardstock. This piece is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I have my card base, which is Misty Moonlight. It is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. I've scored it down the middle at 4 1/4. And I'm just going to fold it with my bone folder. This will be our card base. I'll use my liquid glue to attach the designer series paper to the pale papaya piece. I'm just going to kind of eyeball the borders and get it as centered as I'm able to do. And then I'll attach this piece to the card base. Now, as for the stamping on this card, there isn't a lot that we need to do. Again, we're taking full advantage of this beautiful paper and the artwork that's already been provided for us, just in the paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my black ink pad and the birds from this stamp set. And I'm going to stamp a couple of birds up here in the top right-hand corner, up in the sky. Then I'm going to take the tree stamp, also with my black ink, and I'm going to come down here in this kind of green area where it's almost like the ground is meeting the horizon. And I'm just going to stamp these trees as a silhouette right there, like so. I have two shapes that I've pre-cut. Actually, these shapes are from a stamp set and dies called Hippo Happiness, and these are the coordinating dies. This is the shape that I chose, but you could certainly use any shape that you want. Basically, you want two cutouts, one is slightly smaller than the other. So two shapes that nest. So I did not use the smallest one. I used the second and the third size. So the smaller of the two, I cut out of basic white cardstock, and the larger of the two shapes, I cut out of evening evergreen. So on this white piece, I'm going to stamp the words, "Relax and enjoy your day." And if you just have your black ink pad handy when you're doing this card, the black ink for the words would be completely suitable. I'm going to go ahead and use evening evergreen on my words. I'm going to see if I can stamp this somewhat straight without getting in the way of the camera. I feel like I'm a little low, but let's take a look. Okay, we'll go with it. Usually I stand or I hover a little bit more over my pieces when I'm stamping. So I'm going to take this stamped piece and attach it to the evening evergreen. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach it to the card. I'm going to put it right down here in this bottom left corner. You don't have to do too much when this paper is involved because it is so beautiful on its own. So here we've added just a couple of images stamped right onto the designer paper, a little sentiment. I also love these scenic landscapes because I think it's a little bit easier to create a masculine card. Sometimes we do so much with our stamping that's cutesy or pretty, and these landscapes or this beautiful artwork would make a nice card for a husband or a son or a grandfather for a birthday or a thank you. I have some linen thread here. I'm just going to make a simple bow. I like the idea of the linen thread because this is kind of a nature or naturalistic card, so this looks like it fits. I'm going to use a glue dot and attach this little linen bow. I'm going to kind of scrunch it up because the glue dot, even though it's very small, is a little bit big for our tiny bow. So I've just got it scrunched up a little bit, and then I'll take the knot or the center part of the bow and squish it right in there. Of course, you can use your scissors to trim that up a little bit if it needs it. And even though I really love extra embellishments and I really love shiny things and bling, I think this card is totally appropriate to stop right there. Less is more on a card like this. The products that I've used are all listed in the description below. If you've enjoyed watching this Simply Saturday video, please give me a thumbs up. I would love to have a comment from you, and especially would you consider subscribing to my channel? I would really appreciate it, and I will see you next time. Bye.